Hi guys. So in this video I'll be basically going through a series of training drills that you guys can practice. I'll be using Mario to do my demonstrations, but you can pretty much do these training drills with any character. So basically I'll be showing the moves that you can apply to all the characters. So this is kind of like a generic training video. I'll be showing more character specific videos later, so I'll be making like a Kirby and then Falcon training video, but this one is just going to be Mario. But the concept is the same for whatever character that you'll be using. So yeah, let's get started. So the first movement that I'll be doing is the short hop. The short hop is really easy to do. You just have to gently tap your C button. So just tap it really soft. So if you press it really hard, you'll probably do that and jump really high. But if you tap it really soft, like that, you can see that your character will just jump really short. This is really useful. So to practice this, the first way to practice would just be staying still and just gently tapping the C. And just do this over and over. So basically like that. You need to pretty much nail this. You need to be able to short hop 10 out of 10, 100%, because if you muck up a short hop in a real match, it's going to be very costly. So the first way is just do it while you're just standing. Don't even move. Okay, the next way to practice short hop is start from the left and then move to the right while short hopping. So like that. And just go left and right. So right, left, and then right again. Okay, so this is not too difficult. Once you get the hang of this, you should be able to do it 100% of the time. It's really important that you master the short hop. Okay, so in this part of the training drill, I'll be showing you guys the Z cancel. So the Z cancel is basically whenever you do an aerial attack in the air, you can cancel the landing animation of that attack by pressing Z before you land. So for example, if I were to do, let's say, a forward air, but I don't Z cancel it, it'll look something like this. You can see that Mario kind of clearly lags when he lands on the ground, right? Same with any other aerial, for example, down air, back air, and so on. Mario will lag when he lands. To cancel that landing animation, you press Z before you land. So like this. Right? Or down air, back air, and up air. So in all of those instances, if you press Z before you land, you will not lag when you land on the ground. Now, the most common mistake is that people tend to spam the Z button, or in other words, mash the Z button before you land. That's actually not very good, because if you mash the button, you could do something like this. Okay. In other words, if you mash Z when you land, your shield could pop out. What you would want to do is you want to time the Z so that you maybe press it once or twice maybe 3 times at most, so that you only need to press it once or twice to Z cancel. That way, your shield won't come out instead if you just spam the button. There's a reason why you shouldn't spam it. When you spam it, when you're doing, for example, really intricate combos or really intricate techniques later on, spamming Z, you will lose concentration on other moves. Okay, but the most important thing is that when you spam Z, your shield could come out, and that's basically giving the opponent either a free grab, a free attack, or something. They could put you into shield pressure, and basically they will get the advantage. Okay, so this next training drill is to do with aerials. And so what I mean by that is, it's actually quite self-explanatory. So for example, there are 4 types of aerials you can do. You can do an up air, a back air, forward air, a down air, or a neutral air. So there's 5 aerials. Now in this movement drill, you will do each one of those 5s left and right across the stage, short hop, and the aerial comes out right after you do your jump. So watch closely. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just watch what I do. So let's use forward air as an example. Okay, so like this. Okay, so you want to do that with every single aerial, and you want to do that left and right across the stage, and you want to make it as fluent and as consistent as possible. Notice the attack comes out right after you short hop. So what I mean is, the forward air comes out like this, right? It doesn't come out right before you land, like this. Okay, so there's 2 types. This drill is concerned with the aerial coming out right after you do your short hop. So I'm going to do this training drill using all 5 movements, left and right, consistently. So first, forward air. And then back air. And then neutral air. Down air. And then finally up air. Now, I just probably mentioned that up air is probably the hardest for any character, because what you want to do is you want to tilt the stick. If you're using a controller, that is, you want to tilt the stick. Okay, and then when you're jumping, you tilt it so you don't jump again. So you don't want to do this, right? That's jumping twice. You want to do the up air just by itself. Okay, so after you do a short hop, you tilt up on your analog stick. Not too hard, just tilt it, and then press A at the same time, so you don't jump again. Okay, so in this next drill, unlike the previous one, where the attack comes out right after you do a short hop, in this one, the attack comes out right before you land. Okay, so watch closely. For an forward air, if you do the attack right after you jump, it looks like that. If you do it just before you land, it looks like this. Okay, so this one, I want you to practice going left and right across the stage, short hop, but doing aerials where the attack comes out right before you land. So as a demonstration, I'll do all 5 aerials. So first, forward air. And then neutral air. Down air. Up air. back air, okay, so in this set of training drills, we're still going to do short hop aerials, but now we're going to do them backwards. So what I mean by that is, like before, this is a forward F air across the stage, right? But now, I want you to do them backwards. So you face left, like that, and then you go backwards. Okay, so it's basically the same thing as before, but you do all your attacks facing the other direction, but you move in the same direction. So I'll do a demonstration, and also the attack comes out right after you jump. Okay, so like this. Sorry, my bad. Like this. And not like this. Okay, so I'll do a demonstration, all 5 movement types, left and right across the stage, and the attack comes out right after you short hop, but you go backwards. So, forward air, back air, whoops, that's not meant to happen. That's not meant to happen. Sorry, I'm not a Mario main. I play Fox, so down air. Up air. Whoops. And neutral air. Okay, so very easy. Just do the practice and you'll get this move. Okay, so in this set of movement drill, we're going to do exactly the same thing as before, but now your attack comes out right before you land. You're still going to move backwards across the stage, but the attack comes out right before you land. So I'm going to do it for all 5 aerials, and you guys can just copy what I do. So, forward air. Back air. Up air. Down air. And then finally neutral air. Okay, so in this set of training drills, we're going to be doing a different type of movement. We're going to be doing pivots. So, a pivot looks something like this. Okay? This is what a pivot looks like. So, how do we do a pivot? Basically, you have to dash in one direction, and before the end of your dash animation, you flick the other direction. So you flick your controller, the analog stick in the other direction. Not too hard, because if it's too hard, you'll dash left and right. Like, you'll do that. And you don't want to dash left and right. The pivot, you want to dash in one direction, flick to the other direction softly, so your character turns, but doesn't dash again. So like this. Okay, so do it slowly at first. And then the other way. Okay, and so to practice pivot, 2 ways to practice it. One is you just stay in one spot and you go right, left, right, left, right, left. So like this. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And just keep doing this. I mean, keep doing this until you can do something like this, really fast. Yeah, it gets pretty hard. Okay, so something like that. And then another way of doing it is left and right across the stage. So And so when you get really good at a pivot, you can do it so fast that it's like your character is just twirling across the stage. It's almost like your character's dancing in circles, something like this. And one last thing about a pivot is that a pivot varies in in length. For example, this is a really long pivot for Mario, at least, right? But you can go a bit shorter than this. And so to vary the length in your pivot, all you have to remember is that you can turn around in the other direction at any time during your initial dash animation. So this is the dash, right? That's the dash. And you can pivot, in other words, you can turn around any point during that dash animation. So if you want to turn around very fast, in other words, a very short pivot, all you gotta do is just flick the other direction really fast after you do a dash, like this. Right, so that's a very short pivot. If you want to do a really long one, all you gotta do is just wait a bit, wait until your character has dashed a bit further, then turn around. So like this. Okay, notice if your character gets out of dash animation, so if you do the pivot after your character is not in dash animation anymore, you won't do a pivot. Your character will lag like this. Yeah, so your character lags, and that's not a pivot, because that's much slower. So in your mind, you have to know just how far your character's dash animation is. So Mario's dash animation, it's not too long. It's just like, like that. And so you can turn around anytime during that dash animation. So it's up to you to control how far pivots are. So I suggest you practice pivots of all length. And pivots will become very, very important during matches. Okay, so now we're going to combine a pivot with short hop aerials. And this is where things starts getting really, really hard. At least for, a beginner player. So now what you're going to do is we're going to go back to those aerials, remember those 5 aerials, left and right across the stage after doing a short hop. But you're going to do a pivot before you do the short hop aerial. So something like this. I'll give a demonstration using forward airs. And then it's going to be the same with all the other types of aerials. Okay, so something like this. Sorry. I keep marking it up myself. Okay, so basically what I did there was, all I did was just a pivot, then a short hop, and the aerial comes up right after the short hop. So now this is one of the advantages of a pivot, because if you roll, you can't do attacks during the roll. During a roll, you can't do anything besides the rolling animation. But when you pivot, you can do an attack during the pivot. So pivot and then you can attack, which is much better than doing a roll. So I just did forward air, now back airs for example. And then up airs. Neutral airs. and then finally down airs. Whoops. Okay, so this one is slightly harder than the previous drills, but with lots of practice, you'll be able to get it. So this next training drill will be exactly the same as the previous one, except now the attack comes out right before you land. So you're still going to do that pivot, short hop, aerial, but the aerial comes out right before you land. So with an F air, you'll look like this. With a back air, you'll look like this. With an up air, you'll look like this. A down air like this. And finally, a neutral air. Whoops. Okay, so in this video, I'll be showing you guys different jump heights. Jump heights in SSB is really important because each jump has different uses in different scenarios. So let's start off with the 5 different jump heights, just to show you. This is the shortest, then this, then this, then this one, and finally that one. Okay, so there's around 5 different jump heights. And I'll show you how to do each one. So the first one is the short hop, which you already know how to do. It's just gently tap in C. Easy. And I like to do all of these jumps beneath this left platform. Or this one. They're the same height, so it doesn't matter. So then, first is the short hop. Then there's the medium hop, where Mario does not land on the platform, even though half his body is like almost through it. But he's actually, he doesn't land on it. Whoops, he doesn't land. To do this, you have to use the analog stick, and you got to gently flick the analog stick up. Not too hard, but not too soft. So just gently flick it, and your character should do a medium hop. You just gotta get the feeling. It's very hard to describe. All you gotta do is just keep trying, flick it gently, and your character should do a medium hop, like that. Okay, the next one is where a character lands right on the platform. See, it lands right on it. It's like a perfect land. And to do this one, it's still with the analog stick, and you're just gonna flick it a tiny bit harder than a medium hop. Okay, so you just gotta remember different feelings on your controller. So this one, you just flick it a tiny bit harder than this one. Right, flick a tiny bit harder than this, and your character will land on it. Okay, so next, you want to do a hop that lands a tiny bit above the platform. So rather than landing right on it, you land a tiny bit above it. Okay, so this is where you land right on it. And this is where you land a tiny bit above it. There's a very subtle difference, but you can clearly see that this current jump that I'm doing, you land above it. And so to do this jump, you just simply flick the stick a tiny bit harder than before. So you're just gradually flicking it a bit harder. It's very difficult to get the feeling, but with some practice you should be able to get it. So this is a short hop, medium hop, lands right on the platform, lands a tiny bit above the platform. So apart from the short hop, everything else is done with the analog stick, and each one is flicking it or tilting it upwards a tiny bit harder than before. And then finally, this is probably the easiest one, it's a full stick jump where you land completely above it. So a full stick. Flick it up as hard as you want, and your character will do the full jump. So this one is pretty easy, right? All you gotta do is just flick your control stick upwards, and your character will jump the full height. Okay, so a bit of recap. short hop, C button, medium hop, analog stick, gently flick. Land right on the platform, still analog stick, gently flick, but a bit tiny, or a bit harder. Land right above the platform, again, flick the stick a tiny bit harder. And finally, to land all the way above the platform, a full stick jump, flick it as hard as you want. This will take you some time to master, so spend some time on this. Okay, so in a previous video I showed you guys the different jump heights for Mario, right? So just to recap, short hop, medium hop, lands right on it, lands a tiny bit above it, and lands completely above it. But it turns out every single different character has a different jump height. In other words, they still have those 5 different jumps, but one character's short hop could be another character's medium hop. So to illustrate, this is Mario's short hop, which is not very high. Okay? What if we switch to Samus? If we switch to Samus, you will notice that Samus's short hop is much higher. Watch. It almost lands on the platform. Samus's medium hop actually lands on the platform, whereas Mario's doesn't. So you gotta be aware, whichever character that you main, you need to ensure that you understand the different jump heights. So I only showed Mario as an example, but whichever character you main, you still have those 5 jump heights. It's just that your short hop, your medium hop, and all the other jumps will be slightly higher or slightly smaller than Mario's. And you just gotta get used to that. Okay, so in this part of the video I will show you guys different platform movements. So platform movements are really important because in Dreamland there's 3 platforms which are really useful in competitive matches. So all the other drills that I've shown you guys so far have just involved the ground. I haven't actually involved platforms apart from the different jumping heights. But I haven't actually showed you guys any drills that involves the platforms. So I'll start off with a very simple platform technique and then we'll go from there. So this technique is called a shield platform drop, and what it basically is so let's say you're running across this top platform. I suggest you do this on the very top platform. You can do it on the side platforms, but because the medium platform is the longest, you've got more room for error. You can practice on these a bit later. So say you're running across this platform and you want to fall through the platform. Well, if you're just standing still and you want to fall through, you just simply press down, right? So you just tilt the control stick down or just pull it down and your character will fall through. Pretty easy. But you realize that when you're running, say you're running across and you want to fall through while you're running, you actually can't do that. So say you're running and then you flick the analog stick down, your character won't move through the platform. Like I'm pressing down while I'm running, and Mario does not go through the platform. And so you might think, well, the only way I can fall through the platform is I run, and then I stop moving, and then I press down to fall through. And that's pretty inefficient, right? Because you're running, then you gotta stop your momentum, and then fall through. And so actually there's a way to fall through the platform without actually stopping. And we call that a shield platform drop, because what you're going to be doing is, instead of just pressing down, you press down and the Z, which is shield, right? You press Z and down at the same time, and your character will magically just fall through. So like this. So you can see that the shield animation comes out. You see that the red shield comes out for like a split second. Right? So all I'm doing is I'm running, and anytime during your run, it doesn't even have to be a dash, it can be just a full run. Anytime during your run, all you gotta do is press Z and press down at exactly the same time, and your character will fall through. Do not spam Z, because if you spam Z, you get something like this. Right? Go the other way. And so this is really useful because in a lot of matches, by staying on top of these platforms and surprising your opponents from above is better than attacking them on the ground. But I'll talk about that in a video much later on. So to practice this, the first step is just starting from the left, run to the right, and just falling through. And then starting from the right, move to the left, and just fall through. And then just repeat. So it's not very hard. Okay, for a bit more challenging version of this, all you gotta do is you just dash and then fall through. So just dash on the platform and then fall through. And this is a very good movement type to practice because in a real match, what you'll see is by moving left and right, you're basically confusing your opponents and they don't know when you're going to drop. And then suddenly you drop through and then you can follow that up with an attack. So left and right dash and then drop. Obviously you can practice that on the side platforms, but because they're shorter, your dash animation needs to be a tiny bit shorter. And then it's the same thing, you just drop. So like, whoops, like that. Okay, so this shouldn't take long, maybe 10 minutes of practice, and then just do it every day, and you should be able to get this move. Okay, so in the last video I showed you guys platform drops, shield platform drops. I forgot to mention that even if you're stationary and you want to drop through, it's always a good habit to just always use shield platform drops rather than standard drops, because you actually find that shield platform drops are actually a tiny bit faster. They're probably like 1 or 2 frames faster, and they feel a lot smoother. So even if you're standing stationary, I suggest you still shield platform drop rather than just a normal platform drop. So the next drill is very, very easy actually. Probably should have shown you guys this before the shield platform drop, but anyway. So this next drill is on the ground. It can be done anyway actually, but it's more useful on the ground. And what it is just basically stopping your momentum while you're running. So say like you're running and you want to suddenly stop due to whatever reason. For example, your opponent might have outspaced you and you just want to come to a sudden halt. Well, obviously one way of doing it is just letting go of your analog stick and your character will stop. But you can see Mario slides a bit. Right? You can see that after stopping, if you just let go of your analog stick, Mario will slide. It's not far, but it makes all the difference in a close match. Right? Say you don't want that slide. Say you want to just come to an abrupt halt. Then all you gotta do is you just press shield, just press Z. So okay, and we call this shield stop or shield momentum cancel, because what you're doing is in the middle of your run, you're cancelling your momentum by pressing shield. So now this may seem like a very innocent move, but you'll see that in a lot of scenarios this move is really helpful. I'll talk more about its uses in some videos much later on. But one immediate application of this is when, well, let's say you're going in after tech chase. So let's say you manage to hit your opponent is on the ground, and they're taken away from you. Or maybe they're getting up from an attack, right? And when characters get up from an attack, they have that get up attack animation. And say you're running towards them to do some attack, but then you realize that you're going to run into them because they're just about to get up. And you realize that even if you try stop, that sliding animation will cause you to hit your opponent, and they will still hit you with their getting up animation. And so one way of stopping that momentum is just to shield. So you run in, and then you suddenly shield. Just like that. Another really good reason for using shield momentum cancel is because if you're just stopping by letting go of your analog stick, again, you're vulnerable to attacks, right? You've got nothing there to really protect you. Whereas if you shield stop, the worst that can happen is you get stuck in shield pressure. But that's better than getting hit. So this drill is very easy. All you gotta do is just run left and right across the stage, and then just press shield during your run. So like this. One common kind of error that people make is they tend to, when they do this fast, they tend to roll. So they do something like, and then they kind of, mixed up with a roll. So you don't wanna roll on the ground. All you wanna do is cancel your momentum. So all you have to do is press Z and then just let go of Z. Otherwise your character is gonna roll. So just like that. Okay, so in this part of the video, I'll be showing you guys some drills that involve the platforms. And before I get into these drills, I want you guys to get on this left platform, okay, and see what is the shortest jump that you can use to land on this top platform. What I mean by shortest jump is, for example, Mario's short hop does not reach the top platform, for example. Like that. Mario's short hop is just not high enough to reach that top platform. Of course, Mario's full jump reaches, but that's really high. That's like a really big jump. I want you to find a jump that just reaches, so like a perfect land. For example, Mario's medium hop is a perfect land. Right? So, of course, you need to master the 5 jumps that I showed you in a previous video. Right? So there's those 5 jumps. You need to test out all 5 and see which one of those jumps makes you just land. And it turns out Mario's medium hop makes him just land on that platform. Now this is different for all characters. For example, Samus, or maybe Luigi, their short hops will reach the top platform because their short hops are naturally quite high. Whereas, for example, Mario, Falcon, Fox, Kirby, Pikachu, their short hops cannot reach the top platform. You'll most likely have to use a medium hop. If a medium hop doesn't reach, you may have to use one of those higher jumps. Right? Remember, there are those 5. So, I'm just going to use Mario's medium hop as an example here. Notice, you need to do the jump while standing on the platform. If you run off the platform and do whatever jump, the height will be the same. For example, right? You see, I made the jump after running off the plat. So I'm not on the plat, I'm running off it, and then I'm doing a jump. You can either use the C button or an analog stick, and the jump will be the same height because you're already in the air. And when you're already in the air, whatever jump you use, it's considered as a second jump, and that's always the same height. So, for example, like that. And you always reach the platform. And this is the same for all characters. You'll always reach the platform because that second jump height is just enough for you to reach the platform. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to make the jump standing on the platform and then onto the top platform. Okay? So, because this is still considered as your first jump rather than your second jump. Okay, so once you've figured out which jump is the most suitable, I just simply want you to practice jumping left and right across the platforms. So this is drill number 1, okay? Start from the left, the very left, run, jump up, fall down, go to the very right, and then just repeat. So do it very fluid like this. Whoops. Yeah, I keep marking it up myself. I'm not very used to Mario's dash animation because I don't really go Mario. But you guys get the idea, right? So just jump left and right on the platforms. So that's drill number 1. Very easy. Okay, so now the second part of the drill, we're gonna add on some movements. So we're gonna use the 5 aerials that we learned, which is the neutral air, back air, forward air, down air and up air. So we're going to use those 5, and we're going to move across the platforms doing those attacks. So, a good way to practice is start off on the ground. Okay? First thing I want you to do is do the jump that makes you land right on the platform. So, in this case, it'll be Mario's 3rd jump, which is just slightly higher than his medium jump. So he lands right on it. And I'm going to use forward air as an example. So first step is you do the jump and then you do forward air. Whoops. Like that. Right? First step. Okay. Then you run across. For Mario, I will be using medium jump and then do forward air like this. Okay, so it goes like that. Okay, so that's just the first part of it. Not done yet. So that and then that. And then I want you to run across the top plat, right? But I want you to shield platform drop through it with an F air and land on the right platform, like this. Sorry, my bad. Whoops. Like that. Okay. So you gotta get the timing right. If you shield platform drop too early, you won't land on it. You see? That's the mistake I made first. So you need to time it so that you do the shield platform drop and then you have to land on the right platform. So you gotta do the shield platform drop maybe a bit late. Maybe do it around here rather than doing it here. Okay, so like that. So you gotta land right on it. Whoops, too early. Like that. Right? So, oops. So bad at this. Okay, like that. And then, you finish the drill by running across this platform. Again with a shield platform drop. And end it like that. And then you just repeat. And then you just go the other direction. So it will be... whoops. Messed it up. Like that. Okay, so... okay. So... Nope. There we go. Nope. There we go. Nope. Okay, so like that. Okay, so I noticed in a previous video, the drill involved doing the shield platform drop in this middle platform. And I said to do the shield platform drop so that you land on the side platform. Well, it turns out for Link, and I think maybe for Donkey Kong, no matter how late your shield platform drop and you do an FAir, it's impossible to land on that platform because Link is just too heavy a character. So for example, you can see no matter how late I shield platform drop, Link just misses out on landing. Now, the reason that Mario can land on it is because Mario is quite light, so he's quite floaty. But because Link is really heavy, Link will not be able to land on it. Falcon, Fox, Pikachu, Kirby, they all can, so that's all fine. I think it's just Link, and maybe Donkey Kong. So for you guys that use Link, what I want you to do is, instead of doing a shield platform drop on the middle platform, you can just simply fall onto the next platform, like this. Okay, so just simply fall onto it. So everything else is the same, but I just want you to fall onto the platform rather than shield dropping, because you won't be able to land on the platform by shield dropping. So just land on it. Okay, so for Link, the drill goes like this. Okay, so everything is the same, except when you're on the middle platform, you just do the FAir by landing on the platform rather than shield dropping. Okay, so to illustrate again. Alright. Okay, so that last video was just showing the forward air, but you can do that drill, and you should do that drill with all 5 aerials. Okay, so you'd want to do it with back air, neutral air, down air, and up air. Okay, so using back air as an example, I'll probably screw this up, but here it goes. So like that, and then the other direction. Hey, I got it. Okay, so that's using back air, neutral air. Pretty easy. Like that. Down air. Whoops. That wasn't very smooth. Nope, didn't get it. Like that. And then finally up air. Whoops. So. Okay, so all 5 aerials, and you practice that platform movement. Now, like I mentioned earlier, every single character has different jump heights, right? So, depending on what character you're using, say Falcon or Fox, you need to know that muscle memory for that jump, and you need to know the muscle memory for this jump. Okay, so there are only 2 jumps here. This jump, and then that jump. And I want you to use the smallest possible jump. Right? I mean, of course, you can do this drill with the biggest jump, But then that's not much of a challenge because you can just do that like really easily, and then that very easily, right? And then there's not much point in doing that because in a real match, you got to be fluid. You got to be really fast across the platforms. So, okay, so in this video, we're going to be learning about fast 4 aerials. So we're not going to be doing any platform work just yet. We're going to be learning another technique, also to do with aerials, but this time we're going to be doing fast 4 aerials. So what's a fast 4? Well, a fast 4 is just when you're jumping, you fall faster. You can see that shiny light that comes out. All you got to do is when you're jumping, just flick down on a control stick. Just tilt downwards and you'll fall fast. Okay? Of course, you can fall fast while you're doing short hops, but it's not too useful because this is more character specific. So the point of these videos is to show techniques that can be applied to any single character. Okay, so using Mario as an example, what we're going to be doing is basically just jumping in one spot, doing a fast 4, and then doing an aerial. Okay, now for example, Mario can do something like this, which is a short hop followed by a fast 4 and then an up air. Now, not all characters can do this. For example, Falcon can't do this. A Falcon cannot fast 4 his up air from a short hop. There's just not enough vertical distance. Pikachu can, Fox can't, and, you know, probably with some other characters as well. So that is more character specific. I'll be making future videos on character specific techniques, but for now, I'm only going to be showing the techniques that you can apply to every character. Okay, so I want with whatever character that you're using, just do a full stick jump. So the biggest jump possible, right? And any character can do a fast 4 aerial from a full stick jump because there's lots of vertical space, right? So all I want you to do is practice the 5 different types of aerials, but with a fast 4. So using forward air as an example, it will be like that. And listen to the sound. If you don't have sound on, well, it's going to be a bit hard because sound kind of tells you whether you actually landed the fast 4 or not. Like for example, if I do something like this, although it kind of looks like Mario that does the forward air animation, actually I don't actually think the forward air comes out. It kind of gets cancelled because you land before you can actually do that kick. So, but if you have sound on, you can hear whether that attack comes out or not. But if you don't, then just rely on kind of visual. So anyway, do a full stick jump and then a fast 4 forward air. That's one of them. Okay, and then back air, neutral air, down air, and then probably the hardest for all characters is up air. Just notice for the up air, all you gotta do is after you fast 4, okay, tilt up again. So you want to tilt up, but you don't want to tilt it too hard because if you tilt it too hard, you will jump again. So you want to tilt up and then press A at the same time so that your character does the up air but is still falling down like this. Right, notice this is run. Right? That's run. Okay, you want to fast 4 and then you want the up air to be falling. Like that. Another good way to practice this is the feeling is a bit different when you hit the opponent. So I suggest move the computer here, right? and then just practice doing a fast fall and then hitting the computer. So like that, right? Same with an up air, like this. And try to hit the computer with it. Because if you don't hit the computer, then that means your attack didn't come out. So, yeah, so that's just two ways to practice. So one way is just do it by yourself without the computer, right? All 5 moves. And then another way is to actually hit the computer with it. Now, of course, you don't have to stay vertical. You don't have to stay stationary for this. You can do it kind of left and right. But this stage is not very good for it because there's these platforms. And, you can't really do a fast fall aerial when you're jumping left like that, because you're going to land on the platform, right? So I suggest just practice it from here, right? From here to here. And you can just do that. So left and right. Right? So if you just want to practice one move, so say you're just doing forward air, then it's just left and right like this. Whoops. Okay, and same with any other aerial. So down air. Up air, sorry. Down air. Neutral air. Okay, so in this next training video, we're going to be doing platform movements again. But this time we're going to be using fast fall aerials. Okay, so we're going to be involving fast fall movements. Again, I'm not going to be showing character specific movements. I'm only going to be showing all character movements. So like, for example, a character specific movement here would be, well, Mario can't do a fast fall forward air off this platform. There's just not enough space. So if you try to fast fall, oops, like, there's just not enough space for Mario to do that kick. Right? You can clearly see this. He does the fast fall, but there's no time for him to actually do that kick. It doesn't come out. But, for example, Pikachu, Fox, Falcon, Kirby, they all have enough vertical space to do a fast fall forward air. Mario, Luigi can't. There's just not enough space. So, when I do character specific tutorials on Kirby and Falcon, I will include, this movement type where you just stand here and you just do a fast fall with forward air. But for Mario, you can't do that. And so, I won't be including that here, but I will talk about that later. So don't bother practicing that for now. You can watch the videos. You can watch the other videos to learn about that. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is a movement where all characters can do. Okay, so all you got to simply do is you stand on the left platform, or you can stand on the right platform, whichever one you like. Don't do it on the middle one. There's a reason why not. All you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing a shield platform drop. So very easy, shield platform drop. But you follow that. Okay, you follow that with a fast fall up air, like this. Again. Okay, so not like this. That's just falling through, right, with no fast fall. Right? You want to fall through and then fast fall up air. Like that. This is much harder than it actually looks. Because what you gotta do is you gotta shield platform drop first, and then you gotta tilt down or flick down on your analog stick straight away, And then within that small vertical falling period, you got to do an up air, and you got to Z cancel it properly. So think through the steps yourself. It's just a series of movements, not very hard. It's just the timing that's a bit difficult. So that's why I don't want you to do it in the middle. Because when you do it in the middle, there's too much vertical space to do that fast fall up air. I mean, you can do it, but there's not much point because it's too easy. Alright? There's too much vertical space to do that. So if you do it on the side platforms, there's not much vertical space, but all characters can do this. Some may be harder than others because their falling speed is much faster. For example, Falcon would be a bit difficult because Falcon's falling speed is quite fast. Fox would also be a bit difficult because Fox is a heavy character. Same with Donkey Kong. But, you know, characters like Mario, Luigi, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Kirby should be pretty easy. I mean, Kirby. Okay, well, if you're Kirby, you can still practice this move. It won't be that helpful in a real match because, you know, Kirby's up air is kind of useless, but you can still practice it. It's good practice because in a real match for a Kirby, you may not do an up air, you may do a forward air, but the problem is Mario doesn't have enough space to do his fast forward air, so I won't be talking about that technique here. I will be talking about that in a character-specific Kirby video, but here it's just up air, like that. Okay? And then you can do that here as well. Okay, so now we're going to do some more platform movements. So this one is going to involve all three platforms. Okay, left and right as well. And I'm just going to go straight into it. So you're going to start off using, again, the shortest possible jump. So whenever I jump now, you can just assume that I'm always using the shortest possible jump. I'm not going to specifically mention what jump I'm using. You can just take for granted that all of these movements that we'll be doing is using the shortest jump. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this, and this, and this. Actually, you should move the computer out of the way. So, Luigi, get out of the way, please. Okay. Come fight me. Come fight me, you wuss. No, fight me. What? Okay. I should probably move Luigi. Move him here. Yeah, okay. Anyway, just move the computer out of the way because we're going to need the whole kind of platform here. So, yeah, so it's like this, and that, and then that. Do you see what I did here? I did a shield platform drop, but a fast fall forward air. Okay, so you're fast falling. So if you want, you can just practice this to start off. Just a segment. Okay, just a segment. But when you combine it, it's going to be like that. And then you can pivot, so then you can pivot and then go the other direction. Pivot. Okay, it's awkward. Okay, anyway, you guys get the point, right? So that's forward air, and you want to repeat this with every other aerial. So, Okay, so okay, down air would be up air, and then finally, what do we have left? Neutral air, that's right. You start off on top of the platform, okay? There's not going to be any shield platform drops, you just simply drop like this, and then you're going to do a fast fall up air, like that, and then jump back up with the down air, and just repeat. Like that. Oops. Alright, so you want to get it quite consistent. So, start off on top, fall off, fast fall, up air, jump back up, obviously, with the shortest jump height, down air, and then just repeat. Okay, so obviously you can practice that here as well, which is kind of like going in the other direction, because this one, right, you're going right, and you can practice on this one by going left. Whoops. You're not meant to grab. I'm just not cancelling with R properly, so I'm grabbing. It's like 6 AM, so quite tired. Okay, so you can see that Mario's kind of sliding off. It looks really fluid. Okay. So that's movement number 1. Number 2, you start off on the middle platform. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing, but it's going to be like this. So you're basically doing exactly the same, but you're treating this platform as the ground. Okay, again, shortest jump. So for Mario, it's a medium jump, but you know, depending on whatever character you use, you figure out the jumps to make it the shortest possible. And it's the same. So fast fall, up air, and then down air, back up, and then just repeat. Okay, so then you can just follow up with the same type of movement, but just by doing an extended version. So like this. Right, so I'm just combining the previous 2 movement types, but doing it all in one go. So you start from the top platform, and you do a fast fall up air, down to this platform, then you turn around, and then you do another fast fall up air onto the ground, and then you jump back up with down airs. Whoops. Like that. Okay, so right, And then you can do that on the other side as well. So, whoops, just let me move Luigi out of the way. So, and also notice that I'm not actually turning around. What I mean by that is, for example, when I do that, I don't turn around, then jump, then turn around, then jump. What I'm doing is I'm just jumping straight away and then straight away. So when you're doing this type of movement, there's no need to turn. All you gotta do is stay where you are and just do the jump. So, oops. Okay, rather than doing so you shouldn't be doing this. That's much slower, right? Because you gotta turn, then you gotta turn again. Whereas you can just simply jump and then jump. So, I realized that for the last training drill that I showed you guys, if you're a Kirby player or a Link player, there's a slight variation in how you should do those training drills. The one where you start off here, and then you do the fast fall up air. Well, for Kirby, a fast fall up air is not that useful, because, I mean, you could do it if you wanted to, but in a real match, you're not really going to use up air. So for Kirby, there's a slight variation. You can either do a fast fall neutral air, so like that, and then still follow that up with a jump, with a down air, so like this. So this is one possibility. Another possibility is, rather than doing a fast fall neutral air, you could do a fast fall forward air. So that. Oops. Okay, or you could just do down airs for both. So, or in fact, you could actually do a back air as well. So like, so basically you can mix it up with any other area that you want apart from up air, because up air is quite useless. Now, the second movement drill, which was doing a fast fall down here, Kirby can't fast fall forward air or a back air. For example, if you try to fast fall a forward air, you won't make it. Like, you either fall off or the animation gets cancelled. So, like, yeah, well, you can't even really reach that side platform with a fast fall. Back air, you can't do that either. So your animation will either get cancelled because you land too early, or you'll just fall straight through. So the only one that you can really practice here is a fast fall neutral air, which will land. It's pretty hard actually. So, so Kirby's neutral air is the only one which has enough vertical space to fast fall and still land. His down air also works, but his neutral air is more useful there because it has a much wider range. So when you're practicing the second move, I suggest you use neutral air, like this, and then down air, so like this. Okay, and then to combine it, well, let's say we're only using neutral air, you'll look something like this and that. Okay, so if you play Link, Link is kind of also another exception. So you'll kind of have to do like a variation in the movement drill that I just showed you guys. Because for Link, well, the first part of that drill, Link can do. So Link can do a fast 4 up air. Okay, the attack does come out, and he can follow it up with the down air. So that's fine. Okay, it's this part of the training drill that needs a bit of variation. Because one, Link cannot fast 4 onto that side platform because he's too heavy. So up air does not reach. Forward air doesn't even come out. Back air comes out but lands on the ground. The only one that actually can reach the side platform is like Kirby, which is a neutral air. So it's really hard, but it does work. So like that. Like that. Okay. You can just kind of see that leg pop out. It's not very noticeable, but you can actually see it come out. Oops. Yeah, so Link is very hard to get that fast 4 neutral air and land on the side platform. You have to do the neutral air like a split second before you land and the fast 4. So most of the time you'll probably fall off. And so this move isn't really that helpful. Because, I mean, in a real match, it's highly unlikely you're gonna need to follow up with a combo that requires a fast 4 neutral air. So Link in this case can only do just a normal 4-off aerial. Link cannot do any fast 4 aerials. Okay, Link can only 4-off and just do an aerial after you 4-off. So if you play Link, just a slight bit of variation is instead of doing a fast 4 up air over here, just simply 4-off, do a forward air, and then jump back up. Okay, so just simply replace that fast 4 up air with a normal drop off forward air. So like that. I mean, you can do other moves if you want. You can do a forward air, which is what I just did. You can do a neutral air, a down air, just a standard drop off up air, or a back air. So you can do whatever move you want. Find it, you'll look something like this. So say I do a forward air, then I can do a fast 4 up air, then down air, and then down air. Okay, so in this video I'll be showing you guys two closely related types of movements involving the platforms. Now, as you may remember in a previous video, we did a movement drill where we fast forward through this top platform, right? With different types of aerials. So in this first practice drill, we're going to do something similar, but all we're going to be doing is instead of just simply falling through with a fast 4 aerial, we're going to do a pivot first and then fast 4 with an aerial. So for example, let me use back air as an example. Okay, so if I were to use back air, stay close to the left side of this platform, do a pivot, and then fast 4, back air. So, like that. Right? So if you don't do the pivot, it will just be like that. But if you do the pivot, whoops, if you do a pivot, you'll do a back air. So the reason that I'm getting you guys to practice this is because in a real match, it's good to confuse opponents. They think that if you're running across the platform and you fall through, you'll probably do a forward air. So they'll adjust themselves according to that forward air. But if you pivot and then you do a fast fall, then you can follow that up with a back air. And people don't expect that. And sometimes a lot of characters, their back airs hitbox is greater than their forward air and has greater knockback. Like for example Falcon, Kirby, Pikachu, right? Their back airs has a much greater hitbox than their forward airs. Now for Mario, I mean, you don't really have to, because Mario's forward air and back air are quite similar in terms of hitbox, but especially for a character like, Fox, his back air has a much larger hitbox, so this is more useful. Okay, so you want to practice from this side as well. So same thing, just pivot and then drop through with the back air. Alright, so it's just left and right. Do that one first, and then you can follow that up with that one, and then repeat. Now, you don't just have to use back air. You can repeat this exercise with all 5 aerials. Now, in general, it's back air that's probably the most useful, but of course you can mix it up. So let's say you use forward air. That's helpful as well because, if your opponent was originally here, they could be running across the ground. And so, when you pivot, instead of doing a back air, if you see them running across the ground like that, you can do a forward air and catch them when they're running. So practice this with all 5 aerials. So for example, the first one is a back air, then a forward air, then a down air, up air, and then finally a neutral air. And you want to do that from this side as well. So back air, forward air, down air, up air, and then neutral air. Okay, so that's the first practice drill. The second one is very similar, but we're just going to involve the side platforms as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to start off on the left hand side. Actually, I will need to move Luigi first. So let's see. Let's put Luigi here. Okay, so you want to keep kind of this side and this side clear. So you want to move the computer somewhere in the middle. Okay, so you just start from the left hand side. You do a pivot and you do the shortest jump possible. I'll use forward air as an example onto this platform like that. Then pivot again and then use the shortest jump possible and another forward air. And then pivot again, fast fall, drop through, forward air. Okay, so when done consecutively, you'll look like this. Okay, let's try that again. Screwed that up. And that's not good. Move. Yeah, okay, so that. No. Move, Luigi. Fight me. No. Bitch. Get over there. Okay, so. Not again. Okay. Like that. From this side, it's exactly the same. So, pivot, pivot. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, and you also got to be careful that when you do your first pivot jump, you want to land somewhere here. Because if you do your pivot jump and you land there, you won't have enough space to do another pivot. You'll just fall off. Right? So you got to do the first pivot, land there, then you have enough space to do another pivot, so you can jump up there and then do that. So you'll get the hang of this if you just do some practice. Whoops, I can't get that fast forward. There we go. Okay, and you want to do this with all 5 aerials. So back air would look like this. Sorry. That on this side. Whoops. That. What's next? Neutral air. On this side. I didn't jump correctly, so... Yeah, as you can see, I'm not very used to Mario's type of movement. Down there. On this side. And then finally up air. Same here.